Oh, how to build a pub.
Sveiki, and welcome to the Build a Pub podcast with me, Alex Ravenhall, the only person aged 20 who doesn't know the Macarena. The Build a Pub podcast is a spin-off of my original series, Social Isolation. I invite guests onto the podcast to, as the name suggests, build their own pubs, from what they have on draft, to what food they serve, to what music they have playing, and hopefully get them to share with me some anecdotes and thoughts on the institution that is the public house. I'm going to be releasing these podcasts bi-weekly every Wednesday and Sunday for the foreseeable future. If you can't wait that long, you can also find all 11 episodes of Social Isolation on this very channel, as well as every previous episode of this podcast. I also have to thank Sam Nason and Jack Pethram for the brilliant work they've done behind the scenes. Today, I'm joined by Oliver Cairns, who's going to build a pub so popular that you won't be able to stay in for 5 minutes without seeing a friendly face. I was walking down the road the other day and someone jokingly glorified alcohol. I gave them a menacing glare. Was it you? Of course it wasn't, because you listen to the Build Up a podcast and know not to. Now sit back, chill out, and enjoy this episode of the Build Up a podcast.
Oh, how to build a pub.
Okay, let's kick off by introducing my guest for today. My guest today is an old friend who I bonded with over Game of Thrones conversations in chemistry classes. Since then, we've become incredibly close, talking about Game of Thrones in several different locations as well. I'm delighted to welcome Oliver Cairns. Ollie, how are you?
I'm good, thank you very much for having me.
Oh.
Both an honour and also a privilege.
Oh, stop it. It is a huge privilege, actually. Only the lucky few make it past judges' houses. Ollie, what is the pub to you?
Oh, a brilliant question.
Oh, thank you.
To me, I think it's just about seeing people, isn't it? Seeing your mates. I think that's the key, the crux of it. And I think that process is aided by the consumption of vast amounts of alcohol.
Vast amount. So we're saying, do you believe in the old fairy tale of the sober pub night?
Nah, I didn't even realise that was a thing.
It's a myth.
Bollocks. Total nonsense.
I don't
think it's because you can't enjoy your company of your mates sober. It's just why would you want to sit in a pub sober? I think that's the key thing. I think.
True. I think
have your mates round.
If we're going to talk chemistry, as you know, as we're you know prone to doing, I'd say it's like a catalyst. The old beer.
It is. Especially with people who you either don't know very well or don't have that much in common with. It just facilitates you chatting absolute shit.
Yeah, it's pretty brilliant. And like quite often when you go out with your friends, you bump into people and you're always in the small minority of not knowing the person. So it's better to just be off your head, I think. And then that way you can just talk to whoever you want. And they might not like you, but at least you think they like you because you're drunk.
Yeah, exactly, and then you forget about it by the next morning.
Yeah, that is the best way to approach a pub, I'd say.
No, I totally agree. I mean, everyone says, the great thing about going to uni is you get to meet new people, but I think that's the worst thing imaginable. It's great to have friends, but making friends has definitely helped with copious amounts of booze.
Yes, exactly. To be fair, that's such a good point. I couldn't have met half the people I'm now friends with if I didn't have alcohol. And that's not dependency. No, it's not. It's just that I think we're quite similar. When it's new people, we could be a little bit shy.
Yeah, I think it is that. I think if you can make a fool of yourself and think that you've just come off amazingly, and that's the best bit about it.
Yeah, that is the worst. How was Freshers Week for you? In terms of was it as much as the hype? I'm talking kind of, like booze and parties wise. Was it as big as you were expecting it to be?
I think I do have funny memories from it, and you do meet a lot of interesting sort of wacky characters. But I do think it is largely hype as a way to make people feel excited about going, and as a way of the clubs basically selling loads of tickets, selling loads of drinks for their events and everything. So I think it's a bit of both. Like I think it's a good time, but I don't think it's the sort of myth that everyone makes it out to be. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I was completely unenthusiastic about the whole thing. It was okay, but I've got two problems with it. Firstly, you can never live up to the great stories that everyone tells you, and if you do, you'll end up in hospital. And number two is it's such like a microcosm in the sense that like it's so much different to the rest of uni. So you think like Well, it might be different for you. How many of the people you met during Freshers are you now really good friends with?
I'd say I live with the person who lives two doors down from me in Halls, and I'm good mates with the guy who lived next door to me. So there's a couple of people.
Yeah.
My entire flat from last year, like in Halls, who you meet on the first turn, I'm just don't talk to most of them. A couple of people. I met like one of my other mates, or a really good mate, just on Freshers by coincidence, but he lived like the flat below me, so I probably would have met him anyway.
Yeah. So it wasn't like a Freshers friendship. It was.
I wouldn't say it's. I'd say it's just a way of people feeling less awkward and feeling less, kind of just getting out of their skin a little bit.
Yeah, that's it. I like that.
I don't know what you think. I think it's just an interesting one. I think it is. It's a lot of people pretending that they're like really super cool and like know what's going on, and the fact is nobody knows what's going on.
It's exactly that, which is also, it's basically 5 years of school wrapped into a week. It's everything that you've built up in 5 years comes crashing down. You go to uni, you know fuck all. You don't know anyone. You're scared out your wits. You're meeting new people. Because obviously there's another thing of like going with people from school. Because I think that's quite interesting. Because I know quite a lot of people who go to uni with people from school and then they stick with those friendship groups.
Yeah. I think it would be nice at the time, but I don't think it's a particularly useful way to live your life, really, because that's kind of part of life, is meeting new people and having those sort of awkward, like, times.
Yeah, and there were some extremely awkward ones.
Yeah, it's just, I think there are interesting people out there, and it's kind of a shame to just stick with the same, even though it's like the easy thing to do at the time. I don't think it's something that I would enjoy doing.
No, I agree.
It probably feels quite comforting at the time.
Yeah, because it's just kind of succumbing to the fear of it. I think if you can just persevere through it enough, just to get yourself through Freshers Week, get some acquaintances that you can build on. I think it is worth it. On the topic of Freshers Week, and I want to exclude Freshers Week from this, but we went to school together. We shared the odd pint, me and you, Ked. And then you went off to Bristol, I went off to Birmingham. I had a lovely time, you had a lovely time. Not right now, we're stuck in lockdown, but...
it's kind of boring.
It's just absolute shite. I mean, look at me, I've made a podcast, for God's sake.
Yeah, the boredom is leaking into the internet.
Exactly, and there's going to be hours and hours of this shit. People are just going to, not listen to, but I hope so. But anyway, back onto the question. Would you say there were very big differences in drinking culture between when we used to go to the pub at college and when you went to university? And obviously there is, but any kind of specifics that you could kind of outline? Anything you noticed that you thought was quite interesting?
That's an interesting question, because I think that the stereotype that students are absolute pissheads, and obviously everyone is because that's the thing. The only drinking experience I had at school really was, when you're in sixth form, you're just learning how to drink. People are kind of just turning 18. You're just going to the pub.
Yeah.
So everyone definitely indulges themselves. I think uni starts off that way. But like for my personal progression, I definitely care a lot less about going out and getting absolutely twatted than I used to. I think it's less important to me. But I don't know if that's just solely me, because the people around me, or at least some of my mates feel the same way and can't be bothered anymore. Some of my mates are even worse than ever, I think. So it depends on the individual, I'd say.
Yeah. I think everyone has a kind of a lifeline along with drinking, but with university, some people come to university without ever having drank before, or maybe they had quite a restricted, upbringing, or quite a strict upbringing. They come to uni and they just go absolutely off it. Some people have been drinking since they're 14.
They are the people who go hardest.
Yeah, it's true.
Who've had really strict parents.
Yeah,
we know one personally.
I mean, we can go on and on, because that is such a true thing, I think, especially in Freshers Week. You can tell who's who, from kind of, like, also, like, the culture they have around drinking as well. I think we had a good time of it, We drank a little bit, got to university, drank a little bit more, and now we're basically old men at the ripe old age.
I do feel incredibly old sometimes.
Yeah.
At least in my state of mind. And I'm just like, I can't be bothered. Because I've never got, all these, you'll have it at Birmingham, definitely in Bristol, these, sports nights clubs that are, right in the centre of town, these sports night clubs. I've been to one, once, never on sports night, and it's just I don't see why you'd want to behave like that. Like, these people are absolute, like, debauched drunkards.
I just don't see the appeal of vomiting, and that's all they do. They just get horrifically drunk and vomit everywhere.
Man, honestly, a lot of my hangovers now are often worse than the pleasure from drinking. So, like, I just have less energy to do it, I would say.
Yeah.
But having a pint at the pub is a different matter.
Exactly, and that is a lovely little segue there. Thank you very much, Cairns, for setting me up there with the ace. Yes, a pub is a good place to have a pint, but do you know where the best place to get a pint is? It's your dream pub, Oliver Cairns. But to build your dream pub, you need an investor. You need someone to give you the finance. You know all about that. You know all the economic side of things. So what I need to know, Cairns, is who you're going to pitch your dream pub to make this dream become a reality.
Well, that's a very good question. And there are, that you could say, a lot of people would say, I'd go on Dragon's Den, or I'd pitch it to some wealthy investor. But actually, I would just apply for a grant from the Chancellor. The Treasury, because that seems to be what everyone's doing at the moment. So I would ask Rishi how you feel.
Is it Rishi Sunak? Is that correct?
I'll ask Rishi and see if he'll hook me up with a fat stack to build my dream pub with. This
question has been interpreted in several ways, including someone pitching to all of the Dragon's Den. So well done there. No one's picked Rishi yet, and
I think it's obvious. It's obvious.
I mean, who else are you going to pick?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well,
ask them to print me some money and just build a pub with it. Why not? Yeah. What's it on top of the 3 hammered billion it is?
Just keep racking up the debt.
Why not?
So Rishi has come along to test out your pub to see if it's good enough, to make the cut. And the first thing he sees, obviously, is the name of your pub. It's a big thing. It's the way people identify with the club. It's the thing people know the pub by. I think I said club there by accident. The pub by. So, what is the name of your pub? What does Rishi see as he walks up to the entrance of your pub?
It's the Queen's Legs.
The Queen's Legs. Pray tell, Oliver. Pray tell.
So there's this joke. Oh, what was it? Oh, that's it. So it's a joke I heard a long time ago, probably before I was too young for it to really be appropriate. And I'm probably going to butcher the telling of it, but I will tell it. And I remember telling my parents this joke, because I'd heard it at school, and they thought it was both hilarious and were distressed that I'd told it at such a young age. So there was a pub that had held a competition, maybe a new pub like this pub we're discussing now.
Yeah.
It was who can come up with the best name. So someone came up and said, what about the Queen's Head? And they said, no, that's just unoriginal. We don't, there's so many pubs called that. That's so boring. Go away. Then another person came up and said, but what about the Queen's Arm? And they said, no, that's shit, mate. It's just a terrible name for a pub. And then someone said, well, what about the Queen's Legs? And they said, you know what? It's a fantastic name. Come by for you get a free drink on us. And the man stands outside the pub at opening hours, and the 2 coppers come along because he's up to no good. And they say, what are you up to, you young man? Says, I'm waiting for the Queen's Legs to open so I can get a free drink.
Did he get arrested? I hope so.
I don't know. It's not actually a true story.
Oh no! What?
It's a joke.
That's exactly how I envisioned it. That is a fantastic joke. That's a proper old school joke. That is.
Yeah, that is an old school joke. That's back when anti-royalist sentiments were edgy.
Oh yeah, back in the good old days.
Back in the good old days.
Lovely stuff. So Rishi enters the Queen's Legs. This is gonna be fun. And the first thing he does is he's had a long hard day at the Treasury. And the first thing he does is he wants a drink. And so he walks up to the bar. You're behind the bar. You're wiping down some glasses, and he sees in front of him 4 drinks on draft. There are 2 beers and 2 ciders. Ollie Cairns, what have you got to offer Rishi?
Well, this is on the beer front, it's obvious it would be Peroni, fine beer.
Yes.
On one tap. Punk IPA, if you're familiar with that. Nice pale ale on the other. So you've got...
I am familiar. I hate IPAs personally. I know it's a crowd pleaser though.
That's personal opinion. But you've got, your choice. That's why you have a choice, because you can also have Peroni as well.
Exactly. And to be fair, Rishi loves an IPA. He loves a pale ale, so that works out for him.
It does.
Why have you gone for the Peroni?
I just think it's a great beer. I think it's a really nicely balanced beer. I think of all of the lagers, it's my personal favourite. Not much more than that, really.
It's a very sophisticated and refined drink, I must say. Yeah, go on then. What side has you got?
Well, this is a particular problem because I actually hate cider. Really dislike it. I think it's one of the worst drinks imaginable. However, I know that some of us love our dark fruits.
We do.
I won't name names. Maybe Rishi does, maybe not. But I think that it's a Strongbow dark fruits on both taps. That's the only cider we have.
I mean, to be fair, 98% of cider drinkers are Strongbow drinkers. So you're cornering the market, and 2 taps, you're just taking the piss. You're not even offering them other things, and they're not going to even ask for it.
But then that's my belief. I'm saying, I don't believe in cider. But, here you go. Here's the mass market, mass produced.
Yeah.
This is the mega cider to end all ciders. This is take it or leave it. And,
exactly. That's a fine little number there. But Rishi actually doesn't want any of those. It was a trick because he's trying to test out what options he's got. But he's very happy, As I say, he likes a good pale ale. He likes a good Peroni. I don't think Rishi's a Strongbow man, but we'll see.
We'll never know.
No, but he would like a little wine. He'd like a little wine, Oliver. He would like
he would.
A small glass, he's on duty, of red or white. Now, you've had quite a busy week, and you've actually run out of all your reds and whites, apart from your signature reds and whites. So you've only got one of each, but they're the ones, they're your biggest sellers. So what have you got in the red, and what have you got in the white?
So in the red, it would be a nice Campo Rioja. If
what the shit is that?
Spanish wine. It's the yellow label on the bottle.
Oh, it sounds. Is it quite fruity?
I don't know. It's my favourite red wine. It's nice, dry, but also not oppressively dry red. And I think that is my. And it's very reasonably priced as well. About £7 a bottle. Which is,
hello.
Very, very reasonable.
I tell you what, oppressively dry red. I've never thought of it like that, but that is such a truth. Because you just get these ones that just sap everything out of your mouth.
Some of them are too dry for their own good, I think. But I do prefer it on the drier side of it. But
I'm not a massive wine man, but I love the name of it. Campariardi?
Rioja.
Oh god.
Campariardi. I don't know what that is. That you invented a new brand.
Yeah, I generally thought that was close. That was literally nothing like what you just said. I do apologise, Ollie.
No, it's fine. It's all right. I'll forgive you.
Yeah.
Rishi might not, but
Well, Rishi's gonna have words with you later. Let's go for the white. What smart little white have you got?
I mean, this is pretty standard, to be honest. A Sauvignon Blanc, probably.
Yeah.
Which is, just standard, nice white wine. Everyone likes a Sauvignon Blanc.
Out of the two, which would you prefer, red or white?
I prefer red, personally. I think.
Do you drink it leisurely or like a Pries drink?
Drinking wine at Pries is risky because you end up absolutely twatted.
Yeah.
Because you drink the entire bottle and then have stuff on top when you go out, and then you get really hungover. But I think wine is a drink to drink and stay in, personally.
Yeah.
It's a drink to stay in with your flat, or if you have a party or go to a party. If you go to a party, it's a bit of a pain, but if you have a party or have a small gathering, I think that the wine is where it's at.
It's a hosting drink, I think you're right. It's something that you have, as you say, in small little groups to make yourselves feel a little bit less guilty about drinking. It's a drink that you can get away with drinking. If you're down in pints, people are like, what the fuck's going on? If you have 2 glasses of wine, no one bats an eyelid. So
it would be more than 2 glasses probably, but I do agree with you.
2 thick glasses, some big bastards.
Once the bottle's open, it has to be finished.
Yeah. See, I don't drink wine. I don't like red. It's too acidity. To be fair, it might be because I have shit reds. I never spend a lot of money on booze, but I did have white at a Pries once, and it was a good time. It was just the right amount.
I don't know. I always find white wine to be a bit soulless or lacking in substance. It's just not as interesting. But it's perfectly nice.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. If a drink,
I never buy it.
If a drink ever encompassed me as a person, I think your description of a white was me on the spot. Lovely stuff. Now Rishi has had a long day, and whilst he did say he was going to have a small little glass of wine, he's just seen you got 3 bottles of spirits at the back, and he's feeling a little bit cheeky, is Rishi.
A little bit naughty.
Now, with the spirits, it can be 3 types of alcohol. So it can be a vodka, a gin, and a rum, or it could be specific types of gin. So you could have 3 specific types of gin, or it could be like specific of each. So it could be like an Absolute vodka, Gordon's gin, some type of rum. I can't think of one off the top of my head. So, what have you gone for?
It's got to be, and Mr. Morgan Burgess probably been singing praises for gin. You've got to have a good gin.
You do.
I think I'm not a massive gin connoisseur, but I do think that Hendrick's gin is pretty nice. Anything that will go nicely with tonic and ice. Just, any gin that's not oppressive is nice.
It's quite a light drink, isn't it? It's just something to have on the back burner, really.
And then get absolutely twatted.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
This is the key thing with all of these spirits. Then, if he wants to savour the taste, have it, neat, he would have some whiskey. I think it would have to be probably some nice Scotch whiskey.
Scotch whiskey.
Some Glenfiddich, which is, I'm sure you can afford it as he is the Chancellor.
Oh, yeah.
But he can always print some money off to pay for it.
Yeah, good Glenfiddich. Not option number 3.
Yeah, that's a drinker's drink.
It is.
To put in a cocktail, that's a drinker's drink. And then, obviously, we've got sort of business in the front, party in the back, with a bottle of Jaeger.
Yeah.
People who take themselves a little bit less seriously, and want to crack open the Red Bulls and have a good time.
Yeah. I feel like Rishi could only stomach a Jaeger. I feel like the other ones would be a bit too much for him, but he likes a little.
Really? Do you think he can't handle his strong spirit?
I don't think he can. I think he likes. No, I don't think he's a hard liquor man, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I can understand that. I can understand that sentiment. I know he's a big tea drinker, which is convenient as he's MP in Yorkshire.
Is he?
He loves a photo op with his Yorkshire tea to get his ratings up.
Oh, good old Rishi. He knows how to play the game, doesn't he?
He does know how to play the game. It's worked well for him.
Yeah. Good for you, Rishi. Now, speaking of Rishi, he's about to get himself a little Jaeger, but he notices that the drinks menu is double-sided, and he turns it over, and it's like an A3 sheet, and it's a massive cocktail. It's got loads of sparklers. It's got like all loads of shit going on, and I want to know what it is and what's in it.
Well, this is the thing. I'm not a massive cocktail connoisseur. Some might call me uncultured. Some might just call me, unalcoholic.
Yeah.
But so I'm not the best man to ask on this. But it would have to be my signature cocktail, which I can't remember the name of, but we did it in the Taskmaster.
Oh shit!
No bells, no whistles, clean, lean, 80% vodka.
Yeah. What's the 20%?
80% Russian hand sanitizing vodka,
which
is drinkable, but is also 80%. And one glass of that, and Rishi would be on the floor, I believe. I
think that's exactly where Rishi wants to be. I can't remember the name of it either. Give it one. Make up a random one.
Oh man, you put me on the spot to come up with some crap comedy.
I know, it's improvisation, isn't it? At its worst.
Something like The Big One.
The Big One. Yeah. I feel like that's a Rishi drink as well. Like, I can see him going up to the bar and going, "Oi, I want a big one," and you're like, "Coming up, Rishi."
Yeah, like, just give him the 80%, man.
Yeah, he'll love that. I think Rishi will stick with that option. He takes the 80%, the big one, and he goes to a little booth. And I'm not gonna lie, he gets fucked pretty quick. And he's having a lovely time. And about half an hour goes by. He's settled in. You're serving some of the customers, and he goes, "Oi, Cairnsy." He's getting a bit familiar. He gets a bit drunk, gets a bit familiar. Rishi, you know what he's like.
About that. I don't know if I'd be all right with that. But
it's the Chancellor. What can you do?
Yeah, there's not that much you can do.
And you come and sit across from him, and he says very drunkenly, "I love the place. I just don't know the vibe. I don't know what atmosphere you're going for. And for me to know that, I need to know more about you. I need to know what you're instilling in the pub. And to know what you're instilling in the pub, I need to know your best pub experience. Because then I know every time I walk in or that a customer walks into this place, they are that is the vibe and the atmosphere you're trying to set up in this pub.
Of course.
So please, Oliver, before I pass out from this beautiful cocktail, what is your best pub experience?
I think my best pub experience has to be Levers at the Blue Bell.
Yes!
As you will be well familiar of. It's just a great time, I remember. I think I think I was probably still 17. You know, you just finished the year, finished teaching, going on to study leave for your A-levels. You know, I once was a boy, but now I'm a man, etc., etc. And then etc., etc. And you go down the pub and get absolutely twatted with all your mates in your school uniform and your leavers hoodies.
You do feel pretty good.
Kind of on board with it, but kind of you get impressed, slightly uneasy with having all these teenagers getting pissed. But really great time. And the cherry on top was a certain friend of ours viewing up on the pavement.
Yeah, he did have the greatest time. Someone I won't name. One of our teachers came down, you know, as they do on the leavers things, who I also won't name, came in, and I remember we were all trying to act really sober, just to have a nice conversation. And this person in question rolled down the hill right next to the teacher. Which is always fun.
That was good.
I'm not going to confirm or deny it, but I'm pretty sure he might have mentioned it on his own podcast, so I think we get away with it.
Has this man done a podcast?
I think he has. If we're talking about the same man, we could be talking about different men, but we'll talk about it at the end.
A particular man who now lives far away.
Yes, that is the exact man. Yes, he has done it, and he has. I'm pretty sure he's told this same story. We could sound like idiots if people already know it. I can't remember. I think he did. I remember talking about it with someone. But I'm glad you bring it up, because that was one of the best drink experience I've ever had, because it was the last time people you were kind of stuck with, but had come to kind of respect as a whole group, were together. And
I totally agree with you. Totally. It was just a great time. It was an enjoyable. There wasn't any trouble or strife. Everyone kind of just wanted to get along and have a laugh, which was... Yeah. Did Mr. George Friend make an appearance as well?
So what happened there, and I will tell this story as my embarrassing story if you'd like.
Okay.
So we were just getting on, and George Friend, for those who don't know, and if you don't know, you're absolute idiots, is a Middlesbrough footballer who plays at left back. He's captained the club a couple of times. He was with us when we got promoted, and he lives in Yarm. And he turned up at the beer garden's next to the river, and there's what's it called? A balcony.
What would you call it? A terrace.
A terrace, yeah. Terrace. And he came and sat on the terrace, and we were all down there, and I kept saying I really want to meet him, and people kept encouraging me, saying, "Go on, you can do it." And instead, I went for the option which no one offered me of just chanting about him. From the beer garden. So for him, he was just sat up there, and all he could hear was I can't even remember the George Friend chant. It was so long ago, but we were just chanting his name from down there. Like, how does he respond to that? How did we think that would work? It was
so weird.
It was really weird.
Just going saying hello.
Yeah. It would have been so much easier, but alas, I couldn't stomach it. I couldn't do it.
It was not to be. It was not to be. You just hadn't had enough desperados.
Well, the thing is, I probably had too many, and that's why I was chanting from fucking 10 metres away.
Were you on the desperados, or was that everyone else?
No, I was on something as cheap. I always go cheapest pint they offer. I always go, what's cheapest pint? They tell me, and I go, give me that, and they give me a dirty look, but I go, stuff you. You're overcharging for these.
Stuff you indeed.
Yeah, speaking of though, these are pubs, and this is a Build Pub podcast, so, love you guys. Lovely pub experience that, and, although it is Rishi, Rishi is kind of me, so I really appreciate it, so fuck it, Rishi appreciates it as well. And he goes, you leave for a little while. Now, Rishi is well and truly fucked at this point, and he looks down, and he realises he can't see straight, and he's like, damn it, I've got a Cobra meeting in the morning. This was really not the time to invest in a pub. And so do you know what he does? He gets out the food menu, and he pulls out the food menu, and on the food menu is 3 set meals. Now, a little known fact about Rishi: before he got into the politics business, he was actually a scientist at Birmingham University. And Birmingham University had a very small program where they were trying to get time travel, and basically they succeeded, but no one believed them because it was Birmingham, which that's pretty prejudiced. And so Rishi went away ashamed with his head bowed, but he did come away with a time machine. So for this one, Cairns, if you want, Rishi's letting you use the time machine to get 3 meals from any time in your past. So for instance, if I was to give you an example, when I was 11, I had a lovely cod and chips from a pub in Scarborough, and that'll be one of my options. So basically, don't feel restricted. Go for any 3 meals you fancy.
Okay, so the first one would have to be the Teesside special, because that would be the pitch, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
The one and only. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
A cheese parmesan, actually. A Parma, of course. And that would be number one, and hopefully like some local northern culture. He's a man of Yorkshire himself.
He is.
So
doesn't sound it, but he is.
Hopefully, he can extend his authority or his taste a little bit to the north, to the Teesside Parmo. I don't know how many people know about a Parmo.
I hope more. It's a pretty good pizza. Takeaway.
No, I know a couple of people who know what a Parmo is somehow, despite having never been to Teesside, which is bizarre.
I mean, it was originally Italian, wasn't it?
Yeah, but nowhere else in the country would serve it under the name Parmo.
No, true.
It's in North East Teesside special. But,
because I might be wrong. It's kind of a sophisticated meal elsewhere. I think you can go to some Italian restaurants and a chicken parmesan is quite a refined meal. But obviously, we took that and ran it through the mud and just made one of the most amazing takeaways possible.
Greasy. Yeah, massive and greasy and delicious. So that'll be my number one.
Yeah.
My number two, I might have to reach a little bit. I just need to think of some of the best food I've ever had. Actually, the second one would be a home cooked meal, which was because inject a bit of homeliness to the pub. Because we don't want it to just be corporate. We want to have a kitchen. We have some home cooked meals. So it would be a pasta dish that is known exclusively in my house as Mum's Special Pasta.
Oh, I love it.
When I was about 10 years old. And that is just like your pasta with leek bacon, parmesan cream. It's absolutely delightful. So that would be my second to woo Rishi.
Do you know what's strange about that?
What?
That's my granny's pasta.
Oh no, it sounds a lot like a Jamie Oliver recipe actually. But don't tell anyone.
Shh, but secret family recipes that both people in our families have.
Does it have peas as well?
No, not peas. Okay, we're safe. Maybe your mom learned it from my granny and then did the pea spin-off, just so she can make it her own.
The pequels. That is awful.
No, that's exactly the content we're here for. The pequel.
The pequels, yeah. And the third one would be I'd just go down the road because I assume this pub's in Yarm probably. Especially if I'm pitching it from here. So I'd just go down the road and nick a burger from the George and Dragon in Yarm and pass it off as my own.
Yeah, that's easy.
Honestly, a pint and a burger at the George, you cannot go too far wrong.
I'll tell you what, I do love the George, and it's my favourite pub on the high street. I'd say. I'm not a massive fan of the food though. I always think.
Really?
Yeah,
I think that the burgers are pretty good. Pea good.
Pea good.
Pea good, yeah. I think the George also historical pub as well. I don't know if you know this bit of trivia. The meetings for the building of the first passenger railway in the world were held upstairs in the George.
Yeah. That was
which is an interesting fact.
Yeah. Well, people come here for the local northeastern train facts because, to be fair, we got a load of them over here. Well, we got the first train line ever. So, fuck you, London. We've got something going for us. That's why people come down to the north to talk about the trains.
Yeah, well, that's my local pub, which you know, the Locomotion.
Oh yeah, and it's a great pub as well.
It's not bad, It's not bad. There's not that much going on there, to be honest.
Tell you what, it's dirt cheap, which I always appreciate. It's really cheap in there. Because obviously, across the road is the waiting room where we do the quiz. Also, the other room, isn't it?
The other room, technically.
Yeah, well, technically, if we're going to be talking about it. Lovely stuff. There's some other meals there. What do you think Rishi go for?
I don't know. I've got no idea what the tastes are. I think, both the... I assume he's a man of culture. He is the Chancellor of the Exchequer, after all.
Yeah.
So I think that both, the Parmesan and the burger might be a bit too visceral for such a
refined gentleman
status. I think that the pasta might be a little bit more suited to a refined palate, a refined Westminster palate.
I'll tell you what, nothing says refined palate like Mum's special pasta.
No, it doesn't.
I love it.
Right. You're damn right. It's a refined.
Can you please make sure that it remains that name on the menu? Don't come up with any sophisticated bullshit. It has to be Mum's. Is it Mum's special pasta?
But I don't tell them that Mum's not actually cooking it.
Yeah. See.
That's the catch.
That's the catch that they don't know about. Lovely stuff. Rishi, he gets some Mum's special pasta. He absolutely loves it, especially the peas. Peas are the best part about it. He loves a good pea. Does our Rish.
Does he?
Yeah. So it's a little known fact about him, but he absolutely loves a pea. Now, Ollie, you go off. You tend bar, as you know, bartenders tend to do.
As bartenders tend to do.
And after a little while, I'm not gonna lie, the food didn't help him out. Those big ones, was that what we called them? They've absolutely smashed Rishi. He's so drunk, bless him. And he turns to you and he goes, "What is this song?" And he's like, "Oh, this is such a good song. There's a song playing. I don't know. It sounds amazing. What is it?" Now, little does Rishi know, you've just bought a jukebox, and on that jukebox you've put your first album. But it was such a perfect pick for your pub that you don't need to put any more albums on there because it's the perfect pub album. So what I need to know from you, Ollie, is what album have you picked and what specific song does Rishi bloody love?
Okay, I mean, that is a easy question for me. For a pub and for especially, just from my memories of first going to the pub, it's got to be Whatever People Say I Am, That's What I'm Not, which is the debut album by a certain Arctic Monkeys.
Oh, hello, yes.
Because every song on that album, and it's one album that we can't play anything but that album, right?
Yeah.
And every song on that album is an absolute banger. And I think that it's, I don't know if you get this, I think certain things imprint themselves on you because of you listen to them at a certain point in your life.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I listened to that when I was 16, 17. And that's when you're kind of just trying to figure out what's going on. And I think that it's not just me because it's a very popular album, but I think it speaks to a lot of people. A lot of people relate to kind of just being this kind of not really sure what's going on, when you're in your teenage years. I think it's great, and I think it's perfect that the subject matter is perfectly suited to a night out at the pub as well.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Cairns, Ritz to Rubble, which I don't think is from that album, but talking of the... Oh, is it? Fantastic stuff.
Every song on that album is a banger.
That's my favourite Arctic Monkey song, so kudos points to that, and as I am Rishi, you get kudos for that as well. But that song, for me, exemplifies early clubbing days. Whenever I hear that song, that is exactly where I go to. I think there is something about the Arctic Monkeys, they really tapped into something about... It's such a weird period between you kind of starting drink culture, starting to become what you think is an adult, but really isn't. It's kind of, you're becoming a teenager, even though you've been a teenager for a long time, and then you're finally, it's the first step into adulthood, but it's a very weird step. It's quite an immature step, in a way.
I think it is. I think you're kind of in limbo. It is kind of a transition period, and you are in limbo a bit. Kind of, you want to be an adult, but society doesn't want you to, and you're also personally not really ready to be. So you kind of think you are. You think that by going out and sneaking into clubs at the tender age of 17, that you are really grown up all of a sudden. But then you get to a couple of years later, and you're like, oh, what an idiot.
You get to a couple of years later and realise Keys is shit, and then...
Yeah, Keys is terrible. But I think that it is still a great album just because I think it's great, social commentary. Plus the fact that it's just a banger. You can't, without reading too deep into it, it's just a banger of an album.
It is fantastic, and lovely explanation of it as well. Big fan. Which song does Rishi love?
Rishi, that is a good question. I think Rishi's a lover at heart, and I think that Mardy Bum, classic tune, just he's all about cuddles in the kitchen, I imagine.
Cuddles in the kitchen with a Yorkshire tea. Honestly, couldn't be happier,
just to get the economy off the ground.
Oh, lovely. Right. So you've done that bit. He's very happy. And then you told him what song it is, and he's like, "Oh, I love Mardy Bum." And he stands up, and you're like, "Oh, where are you off to?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm just gonna go and play a game/activity. You obviously have one, don't you?" And you reply, "Of course." with yes.
Of course.
But what game or activity do you have, Cairns?
Well, you said it could be. Are we counting entertainment in this? Like,
Yeah. It's kind of anything.
Spectacle, or
yes.
Does it have to be a participatory?
No, it can be a spectacle. I'll give you that.
Right. I think if Rishi demanded a spectacle, I would turn off the jukebox because it's obviously not cutting it, and I'd drive into Hilton and I'd pull Morgan Burgess out of bed and get him to sing me a song. So that is what I would do. I'd get him on stage. I'd have have a PA, maybe a keyboard or a guitar and a microphone, and just get him to belt numbers out all night, and I'd pay him in gin and tonics, and he'd probably be all right with that. Let
me just get this right. This is a fantastic answer, but I just want to get it straight. Your game/activity for your pub is Morgan Burgess.
yeah, exactly. It's a live performance from a virtuoso.
That I didn't realise there was a right answer, but you've just picked it. That is incredible stuff. Rishi's just getting serenaded by some beautiful, Bring Him Home probably. That's a classic Morgan.
He's just got he's got any number of belters.
He really does, doesn't he?
In those lungs. He's got a good repertoire of belters.
He does.
He's a belter. I think he is a belting musician, I would say.
He's a phenomenal musician, and remember the name because he's going to be famous, and we need to grab onto that for all it's worth.
I need to ride his coattails
until the end.
I think that's the right phrase.
No, it is. Yeah, riding his coattails. Lovely. Now Rishi is loving the music, but he gets a call. Unfortunately, he goes outside. Oh no, it's fine. The economy isn't crashing. Ha ha ha. He puts the phone down and he goes to go back in to the Queen's legs, and he looks to his side, and there is a blackboard. And on the blackboard is a message. You know, pubs like to do little unique messages on the blackboards or whatever.
Little unique quirks.
Now Rishi sees this message, and it's not a big thing, but if it's really shit, he's just not going to come back in. He's just going to get in his fancy Uber and leave, or get his driver to pull around the corner and get him. So, whilst not that important, it's actually crucial at this very stage, because he's a bit drunk and he thinks it means everything. So, Ollie, what is the blackboard message?
Well, it's a very good question. I think pubs try to have like little cutesy messages or advertise their Sky Sports subscription. But who cares about that? Who cares about your Sky Sports subscription? It just seems twatish. So it's we'd learn from the oldest profession in the world, and we'd have a sign that says beer, beer, beer in the style of girls, girls, girls. Learning, you see, because it is what it says on the tin.
I'll tell you what, like.
It's straightforward, to the point. It's none of this cutesy hipster marketing. It's just direct, and it advertises the nefarious wares that are located inside.
What a perfectly direct statement. And as a politician, Rishi loves honesty, so he...
yeah, good one.
He sees that and he goes, God, I wish I was that honest. And then he walks in, and no judgment on Rishi, I'm sure he's fine. He walks in.
Yeah, don't come after us, please.
Yeah, please. It's just a podcast.
I actually think you're doing the best you can with what you have, so
Yeah. I just want to say, Rishi, great guy. Please keep well, and I hope everyone's doing okay at this trying time. But our Rishi comes back in, and he's just pissed now. He doesn't give a shit. He's not even pretending it. He just goes, "Oi, Cairnsy boy, over here." And you're still not sure about him calling you Cairnsy boy, but you let it slide because he might invest in your pub. Yeah. And you sit down opposite them, and he goes, "Look, mate, I'm not going to lie to you. You're just too good to be true. There's no fault about you as a person." And for me to see what I'm doing here. For me to believe that you I believe in you as a person. I need to know you as a person. I need to know some of your worst faults. I need to know from you an embarrassing story so that I know you're real, I know you're legit, and I can entrust you with the money to get this pub off the ground. So, Ollie, regale me, please, with a story.
I'm just going to compliment your smooth segue into the next topic of conversation.
Why, thank you.
Fantastic. Most embarrassing story. I would say this is the most. It's not the worst, but I would say it was pretty embarrassing at the time, but in a funny way.
Yeah, go on.
Last summer, on holiday in Krakow, Poland, lovely city, city, and incredibly cheap booze. So we go to a bar one night, and we start drinking quite heavily. It's very cheap. It's about £1.50 pints.
Oh, hello,
So
perfect.
a few of those down you. And then we noticed that they've got absinthe on the menu.
Oh, hello.
So and it's about a quid for a shot of absinthe. And so you think, I think it was £2 for 2 doubles or something.
Of absinthe?
Yeah, or something like it. It wasn't
Christ.
Maybe it was a bit more than that. I can't really remember. I was pretty twatted already. Anyway, get the absinthe down you. And you're like, this absinthe isn't strong. This isn't strong. So get another absinthe down you. And you're like, I'm not feeling anything. And there've been some brilliant bangers on the jukebox all evening. So I and anyway, so I'm just listening to some good bangers on the jukebox. I come to the next morning, this is the next thing I remember, fully clothed, just lying on the sofa in the apartment we were in, the Airbnb, and then feeling pretty lousy, and anyway I discovered that I was standing on a table singing "Bad Guy" by Billie Eilish, singing along to the jukebox.
That is you, Ken. You love a good Billie Eilish, don't you?
And to the spectacle of the entire pub.
Did you not get kicked out or anything?
Full of loads of Polish people.
Did they not get angry at you, or did they just find you hilarious?
I can't really remember, to be honest. I obviously don't remember any of it, but I don't think they kicked us out. I think they enjoyed our humour. Well, they must have done.
Yeah.
We did get kicked out and no one told me.
I'll tell you what, Ken's.
We got kicked. Go on, sorry.
So anyone singing "Bad Guy" on a table would be quite funny, but you in particular, singing a bit of Billie Eilish, really tickles my fancy.
Unexpected, isn't it?
It's just brilliant.
You know what? I actually think that she's got some decent tunes.
No, she has, to be fair.
I think that compared to basically all of the charting musicians, it makes quite interesting music.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say I'm a massive fan. I don't regularly bop out to it. But I can appreciate a good tune.
Maybe it's a guilty absinthe pleasure.
Yeah, like a subconscious love of this song.
only when you're completely twatted do you actually appreciate it.
Do I have the bravery to appreciate art?
Exactly, real art, okay?
Yeah, exactly. None of this pretentious shit. Just real art.
Raw. It's raw. There's no bullshit around it. It's just raw, pure art. It is.
But yeah, maybe this is they know how to. These Polish pubs, they know how to have a good time. They know how to party.
Yeah.
Not like that club in Newcastle that kicked us out.
No, that was not fun actually. But
that was
hella cheap drinks. My God.
Yeah, that was ridiculous, wasn't it?
That was absolutely delicious. Yeah. We got kicked out for no reason then, or maybe we did. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? I don't really remember.
Yeah. Right, Rishi. He's staring at you, and you're like, "Shit, was that the right story to tell?"
Yeah.
And Rishi goes, "I've been known to be called in the past a bit of a bad guy." And you're like, "I've got it." And Rishi goes, "I'm such a bad guy, I'm going to spend all the hard-working taxpayers' money on your pub. Congratulations, you've got your pub."
Thank you, Rishi, thank you.
Now, thank you, Cairns. I must say, a highlight for me was your album choice. I thought it was a very strong album choice. It really taps into a certain time in our lives, a time when mostly this podcast is based. So thank you very much. Not only have you now got your pub, but you also it did so well with it that he's going to give you a bonus. And his bonus is he's going to let you use the time machine he created at the University of Birmingham, great university, big it up, and he's going to let you have a drink with 5 people. They can be friend or foe, they can be celebrity or not, they can be dead or alive, they can be anyone you want. Because Rishi, he's got the resources and he's got the time machine.
Of course.
So Rishi leaves, and because it's a time machine, immediately 5 people walk into your bar. What I want to know, Ollie, is who are they?
Well, this is an interesting one because I wasn't are we saying that do they walk in individually or walking together? Because if they're walking together, there could be some big disagreements between them.
Which would you prefer?
Well, either. I'm just wondering. Cause
go on, all 5. Let's have it out.
Bear that in mind.
Yeah.
I think I would have in my pub Albert Einstein.
Yes, good start.
Neil Armstrong.
Oh, superb.
Thom Yorke from Radiohead.
Nice.
Personal inspiration.
Big. I mean, he must be a personal inspiration because Ollie Cairns will hate me for saying this, but he won a Battle of the Bands in Bristol. So, you know, he's quite expert in saying so. Option number 4.
My fourth one would be, this isn't through particularly being a fan, but just because he seems like, of all celebrities, he seems like a very nice guy. Keanu.
Who is that?
Keanu Reeves. Mate.
Oh, Christ, yeah, of course.
Sorry, I should have been more clear.
Yeah, you should have been more professional about it.
He seems like a lovely chap.
He does.
Really, just someone you'd like to have a beer with. And this is the controversial one. Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't think any of them would argue. Who do you think would give Donald the hardest time out of your guests?
Probably Font, to be honest. Probably Tom York.
Yeah.
I think he's very, very liberal and very left-leaning. But I think, it would be fascinating to have a conversation with Donald Trump arguably more than many living people, because I'd be fascinated to see whether he's as insane as he appears in global press. And I think he likely is, but I just think it would be like a really amusing conversation.
Well, even then, just to get behind the mind, in some way, even if it is exactly as you expect it to be.
It'd be fascinating. I don't agree with his politics at all, but I do think it'd be very interesting to talk to him.
Yeah, massively so. And to be fair, you've got 5 people. You might as well meet some. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Well, you may as well be challenged by the people you speak to as well. You don't want everyone who's just an echo chamber of goodness, all things you agree with. So.
Exactly. That is a very good way of putting it. You have a great night. Everyone's really enjoying themselves. Donald is drinking those 80% vodkas because he thinks it's hand sanitizer, so he's having a great time as well. I mean, I say a great time. There's some good debate. You find out some good insights. Not everyone gets along, but that's okay because, it's an interesting discussion. And it gets to about 11 at night. They've all been buying you drinks. They've been very, very kind to you as host. And you finally go, look, you've all been very kind and thank you very much. But it's getting later on now. I'm going to buy you all around. And before they get a chance to say what they want, you walk away because you're a little bit pissed. And you get to the bar and you've forgotten to ask them. So as your final question, Ollie, what would all of your 5 people drink, do you think? And what would you have? So finish with yourself.
So what would... Oh, so they'd all drink separate drinks?
Yes, yeah. What would everyone get in their round, if that makes sense? So what's their go-to drink?
Good question. I think that Donald Trump is an all-American Bud Light kind of guy.
Yeah.
Eating wieners at the baseball game, wearing a baseball cap and drinking his Bud Light. I think that's
He's such a Bud Light, it's not even funny. That's perfect.
Yeah, I think that's pretty perfect. I think that Albert Einstein, who would be fascinating to talk to, really a lot of admiration for him. Be nice German beer.
Yeah.
Some obscure real German lager. I think that would be.
Erdinger, I think, is a.
You'd have a big Stein.
Yeah, proper Stein.
Yeah. And that'd be my boy Einstein. I have to say that Neil, which would be a fascinating person to talk to again. One of the 11 men who walked on the moon.
I'm not sure. You'll know better than me.
Crazy, really. Not in the whole of human history, so few people. I think he's the Apollo astronauts are selected from their all-Americanness as much as politicians. So I would say that Neil would have. I wouldn't go so far as Bud Light because I think that he's made of stronger stuff. He's made of the right stuff. So I think that he'd be a Budweiser.
But yeah, I like the distinction between you're all Americans.
But I think that he would be. Yeah, it's how all American you are, but also how much if you're American in a good way or a bad way.
Yeah.
Bud Light is my least favourite beer in the world. I don't know what your opinion is.
I'm with you.
Really horrible. I don't know what I'll get Keanu. Keanu's got to keep his fighting skills at the top of his game for the next John Wick film. So
exactly.
I'd wager he'd have a soft drink. I think Keanu's I reckon he's a lean, mean fighting machine.
Like some diet pomegranate fizzy shite. So quite bougie.
So, but I'm sure he has a good palate, but I'm not sure about the booze aspect. And I don't know what I'd get Tom. I think a nice nice wine or some spirits, I reckon.
Yeah.
That's what he enjoys. But I don't know if he'd drink in his old age either. I think he's quite spiritual. So
Yeah, they're all getting on now, aren't they? Having these spiritual enlightenments.
Yeah, it happens to everyone when they get to a certain age, especially if you're famous.
And finally, what would you have?
Well, it depends how twatted I am. Because if I'm really, really twatted, it would be like Jaeger bombs or something. If I'm still maintaining a level head, it would
maintaining a certain amount of level head, I'd say.
I think a nice pint of San Miguel or pepperoni from the already installed, or punk IPA. There's so many good choices. But it would have to be a lager, though. It would have to be a nice. At the pub, you've got to drink beer. Really.
Yeah, that is a fantastic little answer there. And that's it. You've done it. You've pitched your pub. You've had a nice nat with everyone.
I've made it through. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing this. It's been lovely to catch up with you.
Did I secure funding in the end then?
Yes, yeah, no, you, Rishi's giving you some top dollar. Are you right to hang around for a sec while I do some thank yous?
Yeah.
So, 4 thank yous to do. The first thank you goes to Sam Nathan for the graphics. Thank you very much, Sam. Second thank you to Jack Pretham for the jingle. Thank you very much, Jack. The third thank you, Cairns, goes out to all of our adoring fans.
It does. It's hard being internet famous, but someone's got to do it. So,
yeah.
Who else?
So, to all 3 of you, thank you again for listening in every week. Keep those subscriptions coming, and we love you. We love you, me and Ken. We love you so much.
Yeah, I love you.
And my final thank you is a little cheeky one. It's back at you, Ken. Thank you again for coming on. It's been absolutely lovely. You've done some terrific answers. It's been a lot of fun.
It has. It's been a good time, as always.
Oh, lovely stuff. Thank you. And thank you all for listening as well to this episode of the Build a Pub podcast.